Hello everybody and welcome on another video of Wisdom Within. Today I'm with my friend Lou Martin. Probably you have seen him in another interview, and we are here promoting our movie The Power of Natural Healing. So Lou has been very important for me because he had the power to make some shifts in my awareness that I really benefit today. So there is something that has really changed thanks to this teaching. And I keep talking about gratitude, I keep talking about being in peace, because those teachings, they were life-changing. And at the time, believe me, I was okay, this guy is keeping repeating the same idea, is not really answering my questions, so there should be something behind. So I gave him my trust, and I was a very good choice. So I had a good life since I met him. So Lou, I have a question regarding channeling.
Yes.
Is it channeling accurate? I've heard that astrology has an accuracy of 80%, they say. Is there anything like that for channeling that we can say, okay, the information I got from a channel reading can be accurate? Imagine that you have a person to read, that is in front of you, that you want to help, that is open enough. Okay? So imagine somebody already reading some Deepak Chopra books, somebody like that, that is not at the end of his journey, but just starting.
Sure. Oh, it's a great question. Thank you, and thank you for your kind words there as well. Let's hear it for gratitude and peace. The simple truth, of course, Fabio, as you and I know, is if I open my heart, you see, and relax, then I can be an open channel for what Spirit wants to bring through us. One of the, I have an ebook, it's called The Invitation. Okay? And why the message from Spirit is that Spirit is inviting us into its clarity, its accuracy, etc., is because Spirit is perfect peace and it's unconditional love. And so as we relax and come back to peace and gratitude, as you mentioned, etc., then we're available for that, and that energy can flow through us. But if I or the person I'm working with, my client or group, etc., if they're not in that state of receptivity or sympathy, then it's too different, and it's it's not a good fit.
Okay.
So honestly, the challenge is to get you and I and Spirit on the same vibration, and then healing can happen and miracles can happen.
Okay, and what's your feeling about the accuracy of a reading when?
Well, people tell me how accurate it is. I have no idea.
Okay, so you trust the process.
I'm just delivering the mail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you trust the process.
I'm just the telephone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing that I always, probably never asked you before, is you channel the Pleiadians.
Yes. Yes.
Is there any particular reason why you channel the Pleiadians? Because I know other people, they channel Jesus or they channel Buddha. Why is that decision, and why it's important to you?
Well, actually, that's evolved since you and I talked the last time.
Okay.
I decided to not insist that that's the energy that I'm working with. The truth of it is, I know that what I channel comes through my higher self. And when I was open to channel about 20 years ago, my teacher, Susan Drew, said, you'll start channeling the Pleiadians. And so I honored what she gave me, and it was the same energy. Well, what I've learned is really, I have no proof of that, honestly, and I'm very interested in the truth of things, as you are. So I've just started to get the message that it's fine to just call it divine love. So that's if I have to give it a name, that's the name I give to it. But it's been absolutely consistent for 24 years.
Excellent.
Same energy, same consciousness. Yeah.
And some people, they are, while I was speaking about your brilliant work on me, they were asking me but how do I know if a channel in general is accessing good information, or by mistake it can channel, let's say, a demon that is projecting himself as a good guy.
Right.
So how can I be sure that when I go to a channeler, I get a good message for me instead of being a demon that is acting as an angel?
Sure. Well, it's a great question, and it's a fair question. Basically, I always pray to God, Goddess, all that is, before I work with people channeling, just to have that clarity in myself. because what I've experienced, not only through my own channeling, but through the many teachers that I've studied since 1987 there, is that the truth, the love, the peace, the wisdom is there. Because as you were chatting earlier, we live in a world that's very mental, that's often fearful, that's very confused, etc., etc. Spirit has a limited ability, really, to interfere with us. So that's why they invite us into these states of peace and love and truth. So how you know that something is true is however you know that something is true for yourself. What my guides say is that what we trust most deeply is the truth as we perceive it. And so, the truth within us basically really is, again, that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and that our spirit is unconditional and absolute. But to know that is a surrender process, and that's what I do in sessions with people, as you know, as I try to help people let go of the confusion, the fears, the judgments, the doubts, and as I say, just be in the flow of the energy. And you see, in music, in enjoying what we do, in taking a walk on the beach, exercising, etc., we're in the flow a lot in our lives. We're not so much out of the flow. So when we're in the flow, we're feeling good, life is working through us, and then we're open to receive inspiration, and that's usually our spirit trying to help us.
So I think it's kind of a skill now to be in the flow. So it's better to practice as much as we can.
No, being in the flow, you're absolutely right. I mean, this has to do with the return of the divine feminine, and the shift here from the patriarchy back into a more balanced energy between the masculine and feminine in all of us, men and women. And so what my guides say is that the emotion and the spirit is the feminine, and the mind and the body is the masculine, because the emotion and the spirit is fluid and flexible and always moving and always changing, whereas the mind and the body is more fixed and more static. So the masculine is the focus, and the feminine is the feelings beneath the focus.
Wow, that's an important piece of wisdom.
Yeah,
absolutely. Great. Hey Lou.
Yeah.
Can you be spiritual and having this very, let's say, connected lifestyle with spirit, and still keep your friends that are living in the system and somehow they're helping you in your journey, or as it happens, sometimes you have to go in a community or leave a little bit out of the system for... What's your take on that?
Well, I hear this all the time, honestly. I mean, in the sessions that I do with people, one-on-one via Skype, people do feel very isolated in their spiritual journey, because it isn't the common way of being in the world, and particularly in relationship to families, people can feel quite like the black sheep and all of that. So is it possible? Of course it's possible. Is it easy? It isn't necessarily easy, because there's, as I say, 30 years of working with spirit in my own life. You work on accepting what you believe is true, and then you work on sharing that with others. And people, of course, are going to come from their own perspective and their own experience and their own agenda. But the other side of it, on the positive side, is there are more and more people that are opening up to seeing the world in a more tolerant and spiritual way. So you can find many people on the path, at this time, but it's not everyone's thing by any stretch.
And you suggest a coming out of this?
Well, that's that. Everyone has to cross that bridge for themselves. You see, I couldn't. You
couldn't suggest if it's right.
Well, no, I wouldn't. It's like being gay or any other thing, that's not socially necessarily positive. You have to decide for yourself. Is it worth the risk? I suppose socially, but what like anything, you can't really live a life for very long. So whatever is going on inside of you, of course, I encourage everyone to trust that, and be a fool for what you love, be a fool for what you believe, and see how life can support you, because it always will. That's what I want to say. Life will support us in being who we really are, much better than pretending to be something we're not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey Lou, what is the biggest enemy for personal evolution, according to your experience, to all your clients?
Sure. Well, we were saying a minute ago that it could be fear, but the other part of it, of course, is judgment. And it's really two sides of the same coin. And again, when I work with people and as I work with myself, what my guides have taught me, and is healing the denial. Yes, I am afraid. Yes, I am feeling self-conscious, or I'm judging myself, or letting others judge me, etc. So first the denial, then the expression of usually what's beneath that. Let me put it this way: denial. Then what's beneath it emotionally is grief, anger, sadness. Like, maybe I'm not okay. Maybe this is not all right. We let that go. Then you come to a place where you can forgive yourself for giving your power away, for pretending that you have to be something that you're not really any longer, if you ever were. And ultimately then you come to a place of gratitude. So like the whole journey for all of us, from the mind to the heart, is to go from the illusion of separation back into an experience of oneness and peace. But again, the invitation, spirit, your heart, is never going to intrude on your free will. You see, it waits eternally, patiently for you to come back to yourself in a process of surrender.
Yes, and this leads me to another question. I know somebody that is very spiritual and is very nice, and at work is still, let's say, abused because of that temperament of peace. So would you reckon that sometimes is something else to do with people that you work with, to avoid being bullied or avoid being...
Yeah, that's a great question, honestly. I'm a big fan, as I said, for me, the Course in Miracles and, the essence of Yeshua, also known as Jesus' teachings, and Ho'oponopono is self-forgiveness, you see. Jesus says, pray for your enemies because you have none. Judge not lest you judge yourself, you see, lest you be judged by yourself. So when we have, it's a great question, when we have people that we're afraid of, or circumstances that don't, relationships that never heal, it forces us to really search our hearts, and we try to be nicer and be better and all that kind of thing. The real thing is, it really comes back to acceptance. The other side of judgment, right, is self-love and self-acceptance. So Ho'oponopono, this Hawaiian technique, gives us 4 very simple statements. It's self-purification. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. And those are 4 statements that open the heart over and over again. And this is the great paradox. I mean, this is one of the best things I've found in the path, is it doesn't matter if I feel judged by you or judging myself. However conflict shows up, if I work with loving myself and loving you, then that energy is literally drained out of this situation, and peace returns to the relationship. And I've seen it over and over again in ways that just defy common thinking.
So you're saying that one single employee can change the whole dynamic of a team at work or something like that, yeah?
Yeah, one person can change the world, really is the potential of it. I mean, it's a high calling, but this is how much more powerful. Absolutely, you get it completely. Love and forgiveness is versus fear and struggle. The illusion of the ego, the mind, and the world is that we need to dominate, we need to seduce, control, manipulate, these kinds of energies. When people tell me in situations now, Lou, give me something practical, I'm like, uh-oh, here we go, because it's always about over here. I want an effect, I want to change the situation, that's practical. But I find, paradoxically, there's nothing more powerful, thus more practical, than love and forgiveness and acceptance. So when I change my relationship to myself, I change the energy that I'm putting out into the situation.
So basically you force other people to change behavior.
You invite other people to let go of their attachment to what ultimately doesn't work for them to begin with. You see, if there's no hatred, like we're talking about ISIS and all this kind of madness, if there's no, it takes a lot of energy. Spirit has said this many times. It takes so much energy to keep hatred alive, or fear alive, or violence going. Feed it, feed it, feed it, feed it, feed it, feed it. Because people, don't want that. That's not our true nature. Our true nature really is one of cooperation and love and friendship and kindness and families and communities and all of those things that we so enjoy about life. So if we can take our attention, this is the paradox again, if we take our attention from the fear of the drama and feeling powerless and victimized by the drama, whether it's personal or global, and bring it towards the spiritual nature that is who we really are, and surrender to that, then on the other side of that, this changes.